Hey, what's up? It's Andy Blanks back with another teacher prep video for our Undivided Bible study curriculum. Undivided, as you know, is a 4-session study that is really designed to challenge your students to pursue God with an undivided heart, with a heart that is not leaning towards the world or is not full of affection towards the world, but is full of affection and love and devotion to God. Session 1, you kicked that off. You laid the foundation for that as the theme of your study. And here in Session 2, we want to come on top of Session 1 and really help students understand the practical, the how to do this. How do we put God first? How do we not love the world? How do we follow God above and beyond the world? We're going to try to make this as simple for your students as possible. And yes, it may be a little bit oversimplified, but in the course of this 4-session study, we just want to laser focus in on this idea of how we do this. And how we are defining this for your students is through the concept of imitation. Imitation is a concept that is woven throughout Scripture, especially in the writings of Paul, but also in the Gospels as well, and even the other letters in the New Testament. Paul really kicks us off in Ephesians 5, 1 through 2, where he makes this call, where he says, therefore, he's kind of coming off this big passage where he's talking about our role and our identity as Christ followers. He says, therefore, be imitators of God as dearly beloved children, because we've been saved, because we've been brought into the family of God through adoption. When we come to saving faith in Jesus, he says, because of that, your calling, your role is to imitate God, to literally live like God, to walk like God, to live like Christ. Again, throughout Paul's writings, this is a concept he pushes. And what we're saying is, the way we live in the world, but not to be beholden to the world, the way we live with an undivided heart is to walk in God's ways, to imitate Him. We're going to launch this second session with that passage from Ephesians 5. We're going to come on top of it and really kind of almost hit in a rapid fire way about 6 or 7 different places in Scripture where we hear this call to imitate. Whether it's the call in Luke or Paul's call in Romans 15 or Peter's call, be holy as God is holy, right? In Luke, be merciful just as Jesus is merciful, just as I am merciful. So many places in Scripture, welcome, in Romans 15, welcome each other as I've welcomed you. There's all these calls to imitate God and imitate His ways. And that's really how we begin to live a life of pure devotion to God, is that we follow the example that Christ gave us in Scripture. Follow the example of God and His character and His ways. I mean, the primary reason for God giving us the Bible is so that we would know Him. And it's not just that we would collect knowledge, head knowledge, it's that knowledge would transform us. And so that's how we're sort of helping your students flesh out the practical, the how. How do we live a life that's undivided? How do we love God and not the world? It's simple. We follow God. We imitate Him. We live as God has called us to live. We live as Jesus modeled us to live. We live as Scripture really challenges us to live. So that's what Session 2 is going to do. And I hope it's a really practical session. I think it's a session that is really going to give your students a hook to hang this teaching on, something they can take away and really kind of follow through as they leave your time in Undivided. If we can answer any questions for you or help you prepare in any way, please don't hesitate to let us know. You can email us or live chat us. We're always here and we love engaging with you. So hope your session goes great, and I'll see you for Session 3's Teacher Prep video.